Okay, we're
Well,
here.
hello. We are here. We made it.
We made it. I didn't call
We
off sick.
made it.
Didn't
I
call off
wouldn't have
sick.
let you.
Dog didn't need my homework.
No, the
I
dog didn't
thought
eat the
about
homework.
it.
I'm surprised your dog didn't, though, since you don't talk to him.
I know. We don't have long conversations, Charlie and I, but we are very well in tune with each other.
Well, this is fun, man. Like we've already got you've got 11 people watching right now.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
Yeah,
I see April.
that
Hi
is
April. Hey Katie. It's
yeah,
Katie's fault we're
Katie.
here.
Hey, Katie. Phil Green is in the house.
Hey Phil. This is exciting.
Yeah.
So this is the plan. What's your story? We're here every week to share our stories. Stories leave legacies. Stories help people connect with one another, and impact each other. Right? Hey, I don't feel alone when I hear somebody else's story when I've gone through what they've gone through. Right? So
Right.
there's lots of benefits on sharing our stories.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. And I had the honor of being on Chris Hennessy's show last week, sharing my story with his show, Ending the Stigma. And it was powerful for me to reshare my story.
It was powerful to hear. Like you said, it's you hear so many different perspectives, and you get to know someone on LinkedIn, and you read their posts, and you feel like you know them, and then they come on a live stream, or you get on a Zoom call with them, but we'll use live stream just for the sake of being on a live stream, and tell a story, and you're like, wow, it just takes the depth of that person to a whole nother level.
Right. Exactly. So I'm sorry, I'm reading that Katie's literally hopping in the shower. That's a little bit of TMI there, Katie, but thank you for sharing.
Well, she has a show in an hour.
Yes.
So
yeah, and I'm gonna pop on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Heck yeah.
All right. So since we're here to share a story, Chris, you get to go first.
Okay.
All right. So the question is, and so anybody here, please feel free to ask a question too. But the question is, what have you accomplished that has knocked your socks off that you can't believe you did?
Man, there's so many things. Probably the most recent one is actually finding a way to, and I didn't even put this on the form I filled out, it just came to me, but finding a way to turn a passion, which is live streaming, into a business.
Yeah.
Like I never would have, if you'd have told me a year and a half ago that I would be streaming 2 different shows and producing for people, I would have laughed at you because I didn't even know what live streaming was. And the more I do it, I'm like, holy crap, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah. And so how does that feel, or how does that make you feel when you've turned a passion into a business and starting to turn a passion into a business?
Yeah, it makes me feel really good because for a long time, I couldn't even wrap my head around or imagine myself going into business for myself. Like there was nothing I could think of that I wanted to do bad enough to pursue it, bad enough to work towards leaving a stable job and launching on my own, which I hadn't left my stable job yet, but it's moving in that direction. And so whenever you like it, I don't know, it's such a crazy feeling, like to find that moment, to find that thing, and you're like, holy crap, this is what I want to do. I'm almost 42 years old, and I just now figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up.
And that's really cool. I have some people that are in their 60s that still haven't figured out what they want to do when they grow up. So good for you.
Yeah.
All right. So another story, your most embarrassing moment.
Oh my gosh. I haven't had really that many embarrassing moments, like just that were just like total cringe. And it really isn't that embarrassing, but coming from like, I was probably 9 or 10, something like that. And this sticks out because it was embarrassing for me at that time. As an adult, it wouldn't have bothered me quite as bad. But I took piano lessons as a kid, and I went to a state piano ensemble. And so all the teachers from the state would come, and everybody with my teacher, it was like probably 6 or 8 different pianos, and all of us were doing a duet, and it was all the same song, but we dressed up as people from different countries. And I was Uncle Sam. So I had like the red and white striped pants and the little hat, or the hat and the little waist jacket or whatever with tails. And when it was over, I had on a pair of shorts underneath it. When it was over, I went to go change out of that costume and just have my regular clothes. And when I hooked my thumbs in the elastic of the pants, I hooked it in my shorts too. So like I'm in this crowded room full of people that are just walking around, like nobody probably even saw me, but it like mortified me as a kid that I pulled down my pants and was there in my underwear in front of 100 people that I just knew. All of them saw me do it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why I really like you. We have such similar story. We have a similar story. So my most embarrassing moment has to do around clothes. I was 8 months pregnant. I was a purchasing agent at a boat building company. And so I had to go to the stock room to check on some stock. And so I had to walk across the entire boatyard. So mostly men up on the boats, building these boats. And I went to the restroom first, because I don't know if you know, but when you're 8 months pregnant, the restroom is really important.
Yeah, so I've heard.
So I stopped at the restroom, and those were the days where we wore nylons. So, and I had a skirt and nylons. So I tuck in my skirt into my nylons. So my whole butt is open.
8 months pregnant.
8 months pregnant, skirt tucked into my nylons, and I literally waddle across the entire boatyard. And not one guy said a word, not one human said a word. Till I get into the stock room, and it was, a gal in there that came up behind me, and literally I'm thinking, what is she doing? Why is her whole body up against me from behind? And she's untucking my skirt and getting it out of the nylons. I'm like, oh my God, now I've got to walk all the way back. And everybody clapped as I'm walking across the room.
That's pretty bad. That one is pretty bad. I think you have me beat.
Okay. So I saw April comment, Phil is a client of mine, and I see Phil saying he never wants to grow up, and April saying,
right.
Growing up's a trap. Thanks, April. I got to coach him next week. Oh.
Yeah, April, I had to stop and think about that for a second. She said nylons, and I was like, what nylons? And I'm assuming you were talking about pantyhose.
Yeah, pantyhose. There you go.
Okay. All right. So yeah.
Maybe I'm showing my age. I do that often. Hey, Kylie. So anybody have a question or that you want to shout out for Chris to answer for a story?
Oh, and ask me anything.
Ask him anything.
Yep. Those can be dangerous.
Yeah.
They're usually a lot of fun, though. I've never had anybody ask me anything that was terrible.
Well, there's not too much I don't share, depending on the audience.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, the look of confusion was real. Like I was trying to catch up to what a nylon was while still listening to the story. Okay, yeah, it's pantyhose. I got you.
Yeah, well, that was back in the day where you'd actually go into a department store and there was a whole department just for pantyhose. You don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Tell us about a time you realized your beard needed taming.
So my hair is naturally curly, or it was before I started to lose it. And so I straighten it now, and it still gets wild. So there's it's a whole thing, and I understand. I have a little more sympathy for girls now, but when it's curly, whenever it's dry and it's clean, it doesn't stick out quite as bad, but it's just a wad it looks really bushy. So when it started to go out like this is whenever I noticed, or whenever I would, I don't know, nothing no real crazy story or anything, but it was just it started getting nuts, and I could see it sticking out of the corner of my eye. It would just be this wadded up curly mess. So that's when I bought the straightener.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing
Struggle's real
crazy
with
there.
hair.
Yeah, nothing crazy there, April. I'm sorry. We connected. So Katie McManus, who is Tanya's coach, had asked me
Yep.
to come do a presentation or something, come speak at her group training about live streaming and why people should do it, or why I think people should do it. And everybody should do it, by the way. And that's where we met. She was in the group and we connected. And she hired me to teach her how to live stream. And here we are as her first stream.
This is my first
Which is
stream.
going smashingly well, by the way.
Thank you. And this is a good testimonial to your training, right? And I also want to do a shout out to my son-in-law, Chris, as well, who's behind the scenes a little bit for us today. So a shout out to Chris. And
yes.
Thank you, Yarrington.
Yes, he is producing for her backstage. I have not had blueberry pie yet, Katie. I sure haven't.
All right, so
April just wanted me to talk about what did she say? I just want to talk about the beard straightener. All right, so let me tell about the beard straightener real quick. So you can go to Amazon and look up beard straightener. And I was thinking like a little miniature version of a flat iron straightener for girls' hair, but it actually looks like a brush when it's got heated things in it, and you just kind of comb through it and it straightens it out. And then what's crazy is I don't know if it's because my beard is not thick up here. I don't know why it does it, but it kind of poofs out when I straighten it. So I have to straighten it at night and then sleep on it so it maintains some sort of flatness right here.
I'm saying thanks, Phil, for the testimonial.
Yeah.
Kylie asks a question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's influenced and shaped your life. You share one, I'll share one.
Okay. So by the way, you cannot answer questions on LinkedIn from Restream. LinkedIn does not allow it.
Okay. I saw
you have
that.
to have, it came through as on YouTube, but that's fine. Because it's a bot that does it. It's a bot that answers it. And if you look on YouTube, it says Restream bot, Tanya Bugbee. But anyway.
So it's okay. I'm learning. So Phil, I want to
you are
answer
learning.
Your question. I couldn't answer your question, Phil. So there you go. I was saying thank you for the testimonial. Anyway, go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
Something that has influenced and shaped my life. A lot of y'all know, some of y'all don't. I did a little over 8 years in prison, and that has had just a profound effect on my life now. Like I still reference when I was in prison, this happened. When I was in prison, this happened. It's not that I'm traumatized or anything by it, but I had, I grew up in there. I did from, I don't remember. I was 28 and got out when I was 30, almost 36. So it just, I was doing drugs and stuff beforehand. I got clean in there. I really, I grew up in a Christian home, but I had a really profound experience with God in prison. So it just kind of has shaped the rest of my life the past 6.5 years, almost 6.5 years that I've been out, for the good. I tell people all the time, I had to do almost 8.5 behind bars, but I would not trade those 8.5 years for anything, because I'd honestly came out a better person than I was before I went in.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I have a kind of changing of the habit kind of story. Kind of goes to my blonde roots, even though now most of it's gray. When I was 26, I had to learn how to fly. I was determined to learn how to fly an airplane. And I don't know if you know that, but when you're steering a plane on the ground, you use your feet.
I did know that. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew that. You use the brakes, basically, right? It's the brakes.
And to steer. So your feet are doing this for right and left, right? Well, I get in the plane and I'm holding on, trying to do this, and the plane's not going anywhere, right? And or at least not in the direction I wanted to go. And obviously I have a flight instructor to the right of me. And he was an older gentleman who wasn't really keen, on a young 26-year-old learning how to fly a plane in the good old boys club in Maine. So he wasn't real helpful. Again, embarrassing. But day after day, I'm getting in the airplane and I just want to do this. And it's just like, but I drive, right? So it was one of my first lessons on how hard it is to rewire your brain. Those neural pathways in your brain are pretty strong when it comes to driving. I literally had to sit on my hands for weeks when I was learning to fly, and when I was going down the runway, I would have to wait until I got to a certain speed before I could let my hands release, and then obviously I have to pull back to, get the nose to go up.
Mhm.
So just those lessons on how hard it is to change a habit
Yeah,
takes, daily practice and a lot of friggin' determination.
it does. Like yeah, it's
Otherwise,
so
I'm
easy.
waiting somewhere on the side of the runway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. You had to sit on your hands.
I had to sit on my hands. A good solid couple weeks before my brain would re-switch. Yeah. And went through a couple flight
Um,
instructors to boot.
yeah. Something you've never done, like you'd like to do. Try blueberry pie.
Try blueberry pie.
So that Katie will stay my friend.
So what's stopping you from trying blueberry pie?
I actually forgot about it. It was a whole debate on I did a post or something on what the best pie was or something, and Katie said blueberry was her favorite, and I said I'd never had one. And honestly, I don't know. Like I live in a hick town. We have a Walmart and a little local grocery store, and I don't even know if they have blueberry pie. I'm gonna have to go look, Katie. I'm gonna have to go look, and I will do a video of me trying it.
There you go. I've seen a couple of your food videos. Hey, Charlie. See, now Charlie's talking to you.
Charlie's talking. Yeah, he hears somebody else's voice. He wants to know what's going on.
It's like, what's going on here? You won't talk to me, but you're going to talk to Chris.
Exactly. See.
For any of you who have missed it, a post this morning, Chris had posted, "What do you say to your dog?" or "Who talks to your dog?" And I'm like, I don't talk to my dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie, I talk to you a little bit. There you go.
I talk to mine like they know exactly what I'm saying. And I bet Katie talks to Luna like Luna knows exactly what she's saying.
Yep. Don't doubt that for a minute. Okay. April's sending you some blueberry pie.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything you want to share that you hope to, impact or leave a legacy today?
What would you say is your superpower?
Superpower. Great question.
Somebody got deep there. That's Chris Yarrington. What is my superpower? I don't know. I really feel like I'm good at making people feel accepted or like comfortable or befriending them, and that leads into the legacy I want to leave behind. I want to be known as the guy that was not as the guy that everybody likes, but as the guy that made everybody feel good. You know what I mean? That made people feel like, whenever I'm talking to them or with them, that they have my full attention or whatever. Yeah. I don't always do real great at it, but that's what I would like.
And I'm going to agree with that. When we were going through my classes in Restream, I know I asked questions over and over and over that were the same, and you just made me feel really comfortable. You didn't make me feel stupid. You're not rolling your eyes like, okay, Tanya, I've answered this question 6 times, right? Yeah. I mean, you connect really well with people.
Well, so I remember too. Yeah, and I remember too, like what it was like when I first started streaming. I didn't have anybody teaching me. I didn't hire anybody to teach me. I just did it. And so there was stuff like it would be 2 months later before I figured out I could do something, access one of the features or remember to do this or that or whatever. So everybody starts somewhere. You got to be, you got to be patient with people, especially. I mean,
you don't got it.
You were the one paying me money, so I wasn't gonna be a dick about it. Not that I would have been anyway, but
okay. So your second superpower is that you're motivated by money. Mine too. It's okay.
Yeah.
I love that superpower though. Connecting with people is important and having them feel comfortable in their, in their shoes,
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I asked you before, and you wrote to me, favorite quote, movie, song, and you gave it to me, right? It
Yep.
it goes on by Robert Frost. So talk
Yeah,
about that.
it's, and I may not have put the whole thing in there. I don't remember, but the full quote is, everything I've learned about life can be summed up into three words. It goes on. So it doesn't matter what kind of shit you're wading through, what kind of um, crap is going on, how bad things may seem. Um, Life is going to go on. Like there's always tomorrow. There's always, it's not going to last forever. This moment, this crap storm you're going through right now is not going to last forever. And I read that quote when I was in prison, and I don't even remember where I saw it but it stuck with me. Everything I've learned about life can be summed up into three words. It goes on.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it does, we do, I know COVID's still going on and it's not all the way over, but it goes on and we're going through that tunnel.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And it's how we go through it.
Yeah. And, not making light of it, but everybody thought the world was coming to an end and it was a bad thing. But here we are 2.5 years later on the downhill slide of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not,
yeah.
It's not at its height anymore.
Yeah. So I'll share, for me, one of my favorite movies is Mary Poppins. People always laugh when I say that one of my favorite movies is Mary Poppins. I love the song, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Right.
Yeah.
So one of my top values is fun. I mean, I value, 5 or 6 of my core values, but fun is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to find fun in whatever it is. I mean, there's a shitstorm. Yeah. There's got to be some sugar we can find in it,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It kind of, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to find the good in it, or just understand that it's okay.
Yeah. It's going to be okay. We can just bitch and complain about it all the way through, or we can find something to help us get through it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, if you haven't seen Mary Poppins, I highly recommend it.
If you haven't, what rock have you been living under?
You have a favorite movie?
Man, people ask me that, and it's hard for me to pin it down. I'm a pretty big fan of the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yep, me too.
I love them. I absolutely love them. We didn't go to the movies a whole lot as a kid. My parents didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. And we went and saw Jurassic Park when it came out in 93. It was probably only the third or fourth movie in my life I had been to. I was 13, 12 or 13.
Yep.
And I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I've got all of them on Blu-ray, like still old school. And every once in a while, every couple months, I'll binge watch all of them back to back on a Saturday.
Yeah. So is the new one out yet, or is it coming out later?
No, it's out. It's already out of theaters. I believe it's out of our theater here, so I don't know if it is everywhere, but yeah, and it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. There was some of I don't know what I was expecting. I thought maybe some more dinosaur action. There was a little bit of, there was some dinosaur action in it, but I liked they brought back all the original cast was there. And some of the dinosaurs from the first and second one, like some of the older dinosaurs came back, like the little dude that spit the goo on the guy's face that had the he's back.
Cool. Yeah, I think the first movie I've seen one movie since COVID. I went and saw the Top Gun movie.
That was freaking awesome,
wasn't it? Oh my god!
Oh,
the flying scenes.
Oh my gosh! I went and saw it with a couple friend of mine, and we got out of the movie, and Craig was out there. He was sweating. He's wiping his head off, and Angela said, "Why the hell are you sweating?" He said, "Man, did you just not see me in there flying the shit out of that plane?"
Yeah, they were sitting on their hands.
Yeah, no. Oh, it was such a good movie.
Yeah, and I love that there was a female pilot.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I'd see it again.
I was not disappointed. Yeah, I would too. It was not disappointing at all. As a 30-year later sequel, almost 40-year later sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, that took a long time. All right. So to end up, how I want to end all of the shows is what's your next chapter? Share a sneak peek into what new story you want to create for yourself. And then we've got, I don't know how many people are still on, but there's some accountability on here.
So we've got 9 on my page or nine on your page and 4 on my page.
Okay. That's
Next
a good number. We
chapters.
got 13
It is
people holding you
13.
accountable. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So next chapter is in the very near future. I'm hoping by sometime next year is the goal that I will be Hit Productions will be my full-time gig, and I won't be working an 8 to 5 trying to squeeze clients in on my lunch break and after work. I will be doing that full time. So that is like where all my focus is, and that is definitely the next chapter.
Cool. Well, I have no doubt that you're going to achieve that chapter. And anybody, my shout out to Chris Hennessy is that if he can get me on Restream, introspective, live alone, kind of hide, kind of female, and coach, right?
Yeah.
Out here doing Restream, reach out to Chris.
And you're doing great. Like, you don't seem like you're nervous at all. You look like you're very at ease, and you're not fidgety like you do, like people are whenever they get nervous. So like, you'd think you've been doing it for a while, but that probably comes from all the coaching you've done. You're used to that virtual interaction with people too.
Wait. Let's see if Katie has a comment. Now, Katie may not be here anymore because I know she's got a show right at 5. Yeah. Okay. So Katie Katie is a phenomenal coach, right? So I totally believe that every human walking on earth needs a coach, right? So even coaches need coaches. So Katie is a phenomenal coach. And I promise you, she talked me off the ledge last night. Yeah,
Did
she on there?
Yeah, there she is.
So I text Katie, like, we don't need to talk tonight, but I have a feeling in the morning you might need to talk me off the ledge, right? She called me within 2 minutes. What the frost is going on.
Right.
I don't think she used that word, but you know what I mean.
No, right. Yes.
Right? Yep. So, and then I texted her this morning just a couple questions, and she got right back to me. Yeah. So I've kind of gone through, a little bit of my stuff, right?
Sure.
And I believe getting out of your comfort zone. If I'm going to ask my clients to do it, I got to do it, right?
You got to do it.
This is purely out of my comfort zone, and I'm having a great time. And I'm so honored that you were my first guest.
I appreciate you having me on. This is great. Like, it's really it's a cool thing. Like, it's a brand new business. It's a baby business. For anybody that doesn't know, Tanya was my absolute very first client ever. April Palmer was my second client, but my first monthly production client. But Tanya was my very, very first client. So to have walked through the past month and a half ish of training over four sessions, and then be a guest on her live and see it all and see her implement the things like the intro videos. There's an outro coming up, the backgrounds, all of it is just like amazing.
Yeah. Well,
like
thank you.
It's a proud moment. It really is.
Well, that's
really
awesome.
Is.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for Katie bringing you on and you sticking with it, and then, my son-in-law, Chris, in the background supporting me, I have a phenomenally supportive family. So, shout out to them for being there.
So, and thank you to Katie for bringing me on, because that's what kind of launched the whole, like, really, because I tell people I've said it before in the past to other people, but then I forget about it when I'm talking about myself. There's nothing like, because imposter syndrome is a real thing, right?
Sure.
So I decided I'm going to launch this business. I'm going to do this, and I get everything laid out, and this is going to be great. And then it comes time, and I'm like, holy crap, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? But there's really it was such a pivotal moment for me coming on and talking about live streaming, even though I wasn't, talking much about the technical aspects of it. I was talking more about why you should be doing it and a little bit of the things that are involved in it. But there's nothing like having to talk about it to people that don't know anything about it. It gives me a huge confidence boost.
Yeah.
And then to be able to answer questions, you know what I mean? Like, I really do know. You know what I mean? Like, I really do know how to do this.
Yeah.
I really can do this, And so for me, it was just the boost I needed to really say, okay, you really are going to do this. And it was just like a 30-minute presentation with a little bit of Q&A. Like it wasn't even anything fancy. I had a really dumbass slider. You know what I mean? Like it was, but it was the boost I needed to let myself continue doing it.
Yeah. And anytime that imposter voice comes out, you now have ammunition to, kick it to the curb. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you. And before we stop, and Chris is going to do the outro, feedback, good, bad, and ugly, right? So really would love to know how you'd like this to be better, what could be better. Far more important for me to hear. And for Chris Hennessy, do you have information up for them so that if they want to find you, they can find you?
Oh, no, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. My default is set to follow. You can go to the little 3 dots and hit connect. If you want, I have a website. It is not up and live yet though, because I haven't written the copy for it. I'm working with a copywriter right now to do that.
Yeah.
But just connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have questions about streaming, I'm more than happy to get on a call and answer them. If you want to get trained or if you want a producer or whatever, if you have any questions at all about live streaming, I would love to see everybody live stream. So like I really spend a lot of my time, and maybe I should or shouldn't, I don't know, but I just can't help it. There's a lot of times I'll get on a 30-minute call with someone and give them like a very condensed version of what I gave you. Just a crash course. All right, go live. You do this. This is how you work the comments. Boom, you're ready. Just because if they want to go live, but they don't want to, for whatever reason, I don't know. I do that sometimes. So if you have any questions about it, just reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And next week is going to be my coach, Katie McManus, on. So that's going to be really interesting. So come prepared with questions for Katie and for myself as well. All right, everybody, have a great evening. Thank you so much. This was
Thank
fun.
You so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, thanks, Chris, in the background. And Charlie.
Charlie for ending the conversation.